Boys and girls, this is Astronaut John from the Union County Public Library, and last month in July we landed men on the moon 51 years ago, a long time ago, and after that 10 more people walked on the moon, and it was kind of a big deal. So last year I had the suit made so I could be an astronaut too. Have you ever wanted to be an astronaut, fly off in a rocket ship and go explore strange new worlds? Well, I've got a story about a little boy who wants to be an astronaut. It's called Space Boy by Leo Landry and published by Houghton Mifflin Company. The moon shined brightly as Nicholas readied for bed. And what do you see there? I think that's the moon. He's got a space helmet, and he's got a rocket ship on his lamp. This is what he could hear. Wah, wah. His baby sister crying in her crib. Woof, 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 woof. The dog barking to be let out. And the radio blaring on the front porch. Even the noises from the neighborhood floated through his open window. Beep, beep, meow, vroom, vroom. Time for bed, Nicholas, said his parents. Too loud, thought Nicholas, holding his ears. I'm not going to bed. In that moment, Nicholas made a decision. He tiptoed quietly to the kitchen. He packed 2 cheese and tomato sandwiches. 1 bottle of water, a bunch of grapes, and a cookie. I'd say Nicholas made a very good lunch, or snack, or whatever you want to call it. He fit the food nicely into his lunchbox with a napkin. Very good, Nicholas. Next, Nicholas got dressed. First, he climbed into his spacesuit. Then he put on his space boots, and at last his space helmet. Nicholas read his list aloud to make sure that he was ready. Spacesuit, check. Space boots, check. Helmet, check. Then Nicholas walked out into the backyard and climbed into a rocket. Rocket, check. He strapped himself in and he prepared for takeoff. Nicholas knew exactly which buttons to push and when to push them. It's a very important thing to know. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift off, he shouted, and the rocket soared into space. Nicholas turned and he looked out the window, and below he could see the noisy world slowly falling away. And above he saw the moon. Almost there, he thought. The rocket touched down gently on the surface. Nicholas opened the hatch, climbed down the ladder, and stepped onto the cold, dusty landscape. It was so quiet. This is what Nicholas could not hear. His baby sister crying, or the dog barking, or the radio blaring. How nice, thought Nicholas. He spread out his blanket and unpacked his snack. The lack of gravity was a problem. The tomato slices rose softly into the atmosphere, and they looked as big and round as the earth as they slowly floated away. Nicholas held on to his sandwich and ate what was left. He ate his grapes, took a sip of water, and saved his cookie for last. Delicious, he said to himself. And when he had finished, Nicholas went for a moonwalk. He bounded. Bounded means jumped. He bounded across huge craters and scaled miniature mountains. The beautiful blue earth appeared behind every peak, silent and peaceful. As Nicholas walked, he looked back at his footprints in the soft lunar surface. Just like footprints on the beach, he thought, remembering how he had helped his baby sister take her first steps toward the ocean in the cool, wet sand. Nicholas continued his walk. The vast, wide-open spaces on the moon reminded him of his dog. Wouldn't he just love to run and run and run with no end in sight, thought Nicholas. Though he'd probably miss the green grass in our yard. And seeing the earth again, Nicholas remembered those warm summer nights when his family sat out on the porch in the light of a full moon. This moon. His moonwalk had brought him back to the spaceship. Back up the ladder went Nicholas. He climbed through the hatch, strapped himself in. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift off, he shouted. The rocket soared into space. Nicholas could see the craters and the valleys of the silent moon slowly falling away, and ahead he saw the earth. Soon the rocket touched down gently in the backyard. Nicholas opened the hatch, climbed down the ladder, and stepped onto the moonlit grass. You see the moon right there? He went in his room and he took off his spacesuit, his space helmet, and his space boots, and he tiptoed gently down the hallway. This is what Nicholas could see. His baby sister sleeping in her crib. The dog curled snugly in his bed, and his parents sitting together on the porch listening to the radio. It was a lovely evening in the neighborhood. I'm ready for bed now, Nicholas told his parents. Good night. Good night, Nicholas, said his parents. I see the moon again. It was good to be home. And there's the moon. The end. Well, I hope you kids enjoyed that story today, and I'm getting ready to go take off for another mission into space. So, until next time, this is Astronaut John. Bye.